Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Ramsey Enoch. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and destruction caused by the recent flood in Yola, Adamawa State, and both Mishap in Gumi village in Niger State. In a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, the president conveyed his condolence to the affected families and commended the emergency response who have been on the front line of rescue. He described flooding as a global phenomenon driven largely by climate change, but warned the local human activities often worsen its impact. We must not engage in behaviors that compound the effect of natural disaster, he said. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, is mourning the victims of two separate tragedies that struck communities in Niger and Adamawa State over the weekend. In Niger State, at least 15 people lost their lives when a boat carrying 43 passengers capsized in Zuma, Shiroro local government area. The ill-fated vessel was en route to the weekly market loaded with passengers, 60 bags of paddy rice, livestock, and other goods when it hit a tree and overturned. In a related development, devastating floods swept through several communities in Adamawa State, claiming 5 lives and injuring more than 50 others. The flood, which affected parts of Yola North and Yola South local government area, have left many residents displaced and homes destroyed. The immediate past chairman of Nigeria's ruling political party, All Progressive Congress, APC, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has been conferred with the esteemed Grand Patron Award in recognition of his significant contribution to the sustainability and development of broadcasting practice in Nigeria. The award was conferred on him at a prestigious ceremony held during the grand finale of Nigeria Week London 2025 held at Hippodrome Theatre, Golders Green, London. Our correspondent, Edikan Michael, has the report.
The award ceremony took place amidst gathering of prominent Nigerian diaspora leaders, industry stakeholders, and well-wishers celebrating Nigeria's rich cultural heritage, economic progress, and impactful contributions across various sectors. The event, now in its 2025 edition, aims to strengthen diplomatic and economic ties between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, while spotlighting Nigeria's achievements on the international stage. Delivering keynote address at the event, the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Malem Lanre Issa-Onilu, and his counterpart, the Director General of the Nigeria Broadcasting Commission, Charles Ebuebe, tasked the creative industry to drive positive Nigeria stories that can captivate both domestic and global audiences.
So we felt both the leaders and the followers must be committed to that identity project. And that is the only time we can collectively move the country together.
The strategy we have decided to put up is fix the foundation first, and then you come up with regulations and engagements and all of that.
During the award presentations, Dr. Ganduje, the immediate past chairman of the All Progressive Congress, was honored for his dedicated efforts in promoting effective broadcasting practices and supporting the growth of Nigeria's media landscape.
It's here. So this award goes to Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, OFR, for the Distinguished Patron Leadership Award. And the representative is here. Congratulations, madam.
The organizer says Ganduje's leadership and initiative have been instrumental in fostering transparency, promoting national unity, and enhancing the country's media infrastructure. represented by a team of top management of Global Television. The acting managing director, Aisha Larry Musa, expressed Ganduje's gratitude on the award.
I'm here to receive this award on behalf of His Excellency, Dr. Umar Abdullahi Ganduje, who really wanted to be here during the opening ceremony.
Nigeria Week is an annual week-long international festival in London to highlight Nigeria's contribution to film, fashion, Nollywood, and Afrobeat music, as well as the tradition of various ethnic groups across the nation. Edikan Michael, reporting from London for Global Television News.
The Speaker of Nigerian House of Representatives, Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, says the Parliament is stepping up efforts to tackle religious and racial discrimination across the country. He made this known at the 2025 Interfaith Legislative Roundtable in Abuja, calling for stronger legal and educational tools to promote tolerance and national unity. The House of Representatives says it is committed to building a more inclusive society where no citizen is discriminated against based on religion or race. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, represented by Deputy Speaker Honorable Benjamin Kalu, made the declaration while opening the 2025 Interfaith Legislative Roundtable engagement in Abuja. The Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, has hosted a post-election follow-up and needs assessment mission from the Economic Community of West African States, Network of Electoral Commission, ECONEC, in Abuja. The mission seeks to evaluate Nigeria's implementation of recommendations from the 2023 general election. Aniete Patrick reports.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, received a delegation from the Economic Community of West African States Network of Electoral Commissions, ECONEC, on a post-election follow-up mission in Abuja. Led by the head of Liberia's National Elections Commission, Devita Brownie Lassana, the Ghanaian's Deputy Electoral Commissioner, Dr. Bosman Asare, the team is in Nigeria to assess progress made on recommendations issued after the 2023 general elections. Professor Yakubu says ECOWAS made 37 recommendations, 13 addressed to INEC and 24 directed at other stakeholders, including the National Assembly, the Nigerian police, civil society organizations, and media regulators. He confirmed that Independent National Electoral Commission had acted on all recommendations within its administrative capacity while awaiting legislative action on others.
Of these recommendations, 13 are addressed to INEC, while 24 require action by other institutions and stakeholders, such as the National Assembly, the Nigeria Police Force, the National Broadcasting Commission, the National Information Technology Development Agency, civil society organizations, the Nigeria Union of Journalists, and political parties under the umbrella of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. Furthermore, the follow-up mission will also interact with the National Identity Management Commission.
He noted that the Commission's detailed response, along with the 2023 election review report, is publicly available on its website. He commended ECOWAS and ECONEC for their consistent support to electoral integrity in the region and appreciated development partners. The leader of the delegation from ECONEC and head Liberia's National Elections Commission, Devita Brownie Lassana, while commending the INEC chairman, noted that the visit is a peer-to-peer review on its reports of the 2023 general elections to see how well Nigeria has implemented it as a way of lessons learned.
Peer-to-peer review of our presence here during the 2023 elections, but more importantly, the recommendations that we proffer, which were outlined in a report of our visit here. We've come to see how best INEC has implemented those recommendations, and we anticipate that during our engagement, we may be able to understand reasons for some of the issues that came out of the 2023 elections.
The follow-up mission is expected to engage key institutions including National Identity Management Commission as Nigeria continues efforts to strengthen its electoral system. Aniete Patrick, Global Television News.
The former All Nigerian People's Party ANPP has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that vice presidential seat is made sacrosanct for the ANPP bloc within the ruling All Progressive Congress, that is APC, ahead of the 2027 presidential election. The coordinator of the party, Vitalis Ajunbe, made the call while addressing journalists in Abuja. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The All Nigerian People's Party, which is now a major bloc within the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), is calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that the vice presidential slot is reserved for the ANPP bloc when the party fields its candidate for the 2027 presidential election. The coordinator of the party, Vitalis Ajunbe, emphasized that the move will reaffirm the significance of political inclusion and uphold the spirit of equity and power sharing within the APC coalition.
Vice presidential seat. The Association of the former NPP members hereby calls on our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to ensure that the vice presidential seat is made sacrosanct for the ANPP bloc in the governing APC for the 2027 presidential election, as millions of the former ANPP members across the country who voted massively for the current ticket you are serving will be disappointed if you choose another person outside the ANPP bloc in the APC as their vice president. Our demands. The Association of Former ANPP members hereby demands from our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the following. 1. Inclusivity. To offer our services to government and Nigerians, the APC government led by our president should consider our members by appointing us as board chairmen, ambassadors, ministers, heads of government agencies, and departments.
He added that preserving the vice presidents for the ANPP bloc would not only strengthen internal democracy, but also maintain balance among the party's legacy group. The ANPP is one of the 3 legacy parties that merged to form the APC in 2013. With political realignment already taking shape across the country, this latest demand is expected to stir fresh conversation within the ruling party. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
The federal government has dispatched armored personnel carriers to strengthen security and combat banditry in Kebbi State. The state governor, Nasir Idris, made the announcement while inspecting the vehicle at the government house in Birnin, Kebbi. The government noted that Kebbi has been under constant attack from bandits crossing over from Zamfara and Niger states, launching raids and retreating to their hideouts, stated that the deployment of the APCs would help deter further attacks and protect lives and property. Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian Army, supported by Department of State Security Intelligence and hybrid forces, have neutralized at least 4 to 5 terrorists during a gunfire in Iburu village, Shiroro local government area, Niger State. The operation followed a tip-off about an impending attack, leading to the destruction of dozens of motorcycles used by the bandits. 2 hybrid fighters died and 4 others were injured and hospitalized at the state's capital. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) has forecast widespread rainfall and thunderstorm across various parts of the country from Monday to Wednesday, warning that flash floods are likely to vulnerable areas, especially those with poor drainage system. According to its weather outlook released in Abuja, morning thunderstorm and moderate rainfall are expected over parts of Jigawa, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, Yobe, and Katsina State in the northern Nigeria, with the agency calling on residents to stay alert and prepared for the possible weather-related destruction. NIMET further advised motorists, outdoor workers, and the general public to exercise caution during the heavy downpour period, as the rains may lead to reduced visibility, waterlogged roads, and traffic destruction, emphasizing that this forecast is part of ongoing national efforts to strengthen disaster preparedness and public safety. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, crude oil price rise after US-EU tariff deal, OPEC plus I output hike. Details coming shortly, plus sport and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back now to the world of business. President of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has described President Bola Tinubu as a listening president whose policy direction is reviving investors' confidence in Nigeria's struggling economy and addressing long-standing crude supply bottlenecks. Dangote made the remark when the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduole, paid a walking visit to the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemical, as well as Dangote Fertilizers Limited in Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos. Dangote applauded the federal government's recent intervention aimed at easing crude oil supply to local refineries, particularly commending the Naira for Crude initiative and Nigeria First policy as bold and transformative efforts. The House of Representatives Committee on Renewable Energy has raised alarm over a 50% skill gap in Nigeria's renewable energy workforce. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Afam Ogene, disclosed this during the African Policy Dialogue in Abuja, themed Green Jobs and Low Carbon Transition. Our National Assembly correspondent, Aniete Patrick, reports.
Stakeholders in Nigeria's oil and gas sector are sharply divided over a proposed law to establish the National Commission for Decommissioning of Oil and Gas Installations, also known as NCDOGI. The public hearing, chaired by Honorable Alhassan Adodogua of the House Committee on Petroleum Resources Upstream, brought together lawmakers, regulators, and environmental experts to deliberate on the controversial bill. Honorable Adodogua described the initiative as a proactive move to enforce global best practices and shield host communities, especially in the Niger Delta, from the environmental risks of abandoned oil infrastructure, but not everyone is on board.
The regulatory institution in enforcing all assessing decommissioning practices. This bill is not meant to duplicate your work, but to complement and strengthen existing legal frameworks while creating a unified approach to a matter of national importance.
A director at the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Mark Emmanuel, argued that the existing Petroleum Industry Act already covers decommissioning obligations and funding mechanism under the supervision of his agency.
Creating a separate commission now would undermine the principles of regulatory clarity and predictability that the PI 2021 sought to achieve, thus impacting on the federal government's initiative on the ease of doing business.
Also echoing this view was Director of Environmental Assessment at the Ministry of Environment, Rufikat Odetoro, who suggested that rather than creating a new body, agencies like the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency should be empowered and better funded.
We cannot afford to contaminate our environment because our environment is our national asset.
However, not all regulators oppose the idea, as the Deputy Director of Legal Services at NOSDRA, Titilayo Bayelo, expressed support for the bill but emphasized that NOSDRA must be included in the proposed Commission's governance structure for effective coordination.
Yes, international best practices for the environment supports the fact that environmental bodies of governance should evolve self-policies, laws, regulations on oil spill prevention.
The hearing also drew attention to the ongoing disconnect between policy and action, particularly in the Niger Delta region, where communities continue to live with consequences of abandoned oil installations. Annie T. Patrick, Global Television News.
Global oil prices have climbed after the United States and the European Union resolved the trade standoff is in fear of disrupted energy trade. OPEC Plus is expected to continue phasing out voluntary production cuts, possibly adding 200,000 barrels per day in September. Analysts said global oil demand rose by 600,000 barrels per day in July, helping absorb the extra supply. And now on the foreign scene, the United States mission in Nigeria warns that any visa applicant found to be traveling primarily to give birth in the United States to secure citizenship for their child will be denied entry. The warning was issued in a post shared on X, formerly Twitter, via the official handle at US in Nigeria. The mission stressed that consular officers will deny visa application if they suspect the applicant's primary purpose of travel is to give birth in the United States of America. Ceasefire talks have started between Thailand and Cambodia leaders in Malaysia in an urgent effort to resolve deadly border clashes that enter the fifth day despite mounting international call for peace. Thailand's acting Prime Minister, Pantam Wadonchai, and Cambodia's Prime Minister, Hun Manet, are holding ceasefire talks in Malaysia's administrative capital of Putrajaya, and the official residence of Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. Now let's take you to the world of sport, where Emmanuel Michael and Chicago-based Adesua Osobohin have won the men's and women's single title respectively at the 46th edition of the CBN Senior Tennis Championship held at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abuja. Emmanuel defeated Prosper Okonkwo 7-5, 2-6, 6-3 in a hard-fought final, while Adesua came from a set down to beat Omotayo Blessing 3-6, 5-1, 6-4 in a trailing showdown. CBN Deputy Governor Emenu Soro, represented by Acting Communications Director Hakama Sidi Ali, reaffirmed the bank's commitment to youth development through sports, highlighting the tournament's 40-year legacy and junior inclusion since 2006. That's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen. using @Global TV NG. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Thank you for watching.